6. The girl accidentally swallowed the protective spiritual herb that belonged to the heroine. From that moment on, her entire body became a miraculous medicine capable of healing the sick and saving the dying. Her parents died one after another while trying to protect her, and in the end, even her entire clan was exterminated by demonic cultivators. The system told her to accept her fate and stop struggling because her flesh and blood were destined to become the heroine's protective treasure. But Su-Ran refused to believe that. So when the little maid heroine was about to be taken away by immortals, Su-Ran reached out and grabbed their robes. "Two immortals! I also want to cultivate immortality. Please take me with you too." Real Master Qingyang lowered his head and saw a little girl kneeling on the ground, about the same age as Qingning. The little girl was dressed luxuriously and was obviously the young miss of this household. In contrast, Qingning wore rough cloth garments and clearly did not live well in the residence. Because of that, Qingyang's first impression of Su-Ran was not good. "You have no affinity with the immortal path. Don't think about it anymore." Compared to the gentle attitude he showed Qingning, Qingyang's attitude towards Su-Ran was extremely cold. Hearing those words, Su-Ran clenched the hand she had pressed against the ground into a fist, yet still kowtowed several more times to Qingyang. Just as Su-Ran was about to plead again, a hand suddenly supported her and stopped her from continuing. All right, we'll take you along." "I don't like being worshipped by people anyway," Real Master Lingfeng beside them sighed softly. "Before disciples of our Purple Sky sect enter the sect, they all must pass the heart-questioning path test. If you can pass it, then you may naturally join our Purple Sky sect. If you cannot..." Su-Ran lowered her head silently. It wasn't that she wanted to cling to these immortals, she simply wanted to survive. Her older brother had deliberately shown himself to lure away the demonic cultivators in order to save her. She could not die. Real Master Lingfeng traveled all the way back to Purple Sky sect with the two children. The flight was too fast. Before Su-Ran could clearly see what the world of immortal cultivators looked like, Lingfeng had already thrown her into the heart-questioning path. It just so happened to be the Purple Sky sect's once every 3 years disciple recruitment ceremony. Countless people entered the heart-questioning path. Among them were children even younger than Su-Ran, as well as white-haired elders. Everyone yearned to cultivate immortality. The entrance to the heart-questioning path never stopped anyone. At the entrance, the sect master of Purple Sky sect, Qianlu, sat in the center. As he looked over the newly admitted disciples below, he spoke to his junior brother Xuanwei sitting at his right. "Junior brother, your Lingyan peak hasn't accepted disciples for over 20 years already. This time you should at least pick a few, right? We'll see if fate allows it." Seeing Xuanwei's uninterested expression, Qianlu knew he once again had no intention of accepting disciples. "What do you think of that little girl standing in the front?" She was the first to pass the heart-questioning path this time. It only took her 2 hours. She's the fastest new disciple in the last 100 years. Her spiritual roots and temperament must both be exceptionally rare. Xuanwei lazily glanced in the direction Qianlu pointed. "Women are too delicate. They aren't suited to sword cultivation." The moment he said that, the peak master of Suwen Peak immediately shot him a sharp look. Qianlu hurriedly tried to smooth things over. "That little girl seems very spiritual. Compared to becoming a sword cultivator, she'd probably be more suitable as a sound cultivator. But among so many disciples, there must be some suitable sword cultivators. Why don't you go down and take a closer look?" Xuanwei nodded and flashed down in front of the disciples. He circled around once before returning to the high platform. "None are suitable for entering my Lingyan peak." Qianlu knew that walk around was merely done to satisfy him. Xuanwei had no real intention of accepting disciples, so he could only give up. After Xuanwei's inspection, the disciples below began testing their spiritual roots one by one, and the senior disciples of each peak assigned them accordingly. Single spiritual roots and a few lucky dual spiritual roots became inner sect disciples. Most dual and triple spiritual roots were assigned to the outer sect. As for Qingning, the heroine who passed the heart-questioning path first, she was found to possess a wood spiritual root and was directly accepted by Miaoyan Peak's peak master as a personal disciple. One after another, the disciples received their placements. Finally, it was Su-Ran's turn. Facing the spiritual root testing crystal, she felt nervous because the system had already told her she possessed inferior 4 spiritual roots. Among all the disciples tested before her, none had worse than triple spiritual roots. 4 spiritual roots had not appeared even once. Even triple spiritual roots were looked down upon here. So what about her 4 spiritual roots? Su-Ran placed her hand on the crystal. Immediately 4 dim colors appeared on the crystal, exactly as the system had said. There was no doubt she had extremely poor 4 spiritual roots. How did someone with 4 spiritual roots pass the heart-questioning path? The surrounding disciples began whispering after seeing the results. Ling Feng, standing among the law cultivator disciples, sighed in relief after seeing Su-Ran's result. Most mortals had no spiritual roots at all. Although Su-Ran's 4 spiritual roots were poor, she could at least remain as an outer sect disciple. Su-Ran, outer sect. Seeing that nobody had spoken up after 5 minutes, the elder responsible for disciple assignments announced the result. Su-Ran turned and was about to walk toward the outer sect disciples when something suddenly struck her back. She turned around and saw that on the high platform, real Master Xuanwei was looking at her. "Are you willing to join my Lingyan peak as a sword cultivator disciple?" Su-Ran froze for a moment. "Real Master, With my 4 spiritual roots aptitude, no matter how hard I cultivate, I'll probably stop at the chi refining stage. Is there any use in joining Lingyan Peak? Planting grass, growing flowers, raising swords. There are many uses, Qianlu muttered quietly. Just now you said girls were too delicate to accept. Xuanwei shot him a glance. A 4 spiritual roots disciple who can pass the heart-questioning path. Find me another girl with that kind of temperament. Qianlu frowned. Spiritual roots cannot be compensated for by temperament alone. Even though sword cultivators value temperament heavily, 4 spiritual roots can never compare to heavenly spiritual roots. You should think this through carefully. Xuanwei directly replied. What does a law cultivator like you know about sword cultivators? Joining Lingyan Peak meant becoming an inner sect disciple. For Su Ran, who had already been satisfied simply entering Purple Sky Sect, this was undoubtedly an enormous surprise. Step by step, Su Ran walked onto the high platform, intending to stand behind Xuanwei where his 3 disciples were standing. Seeing this, Ling Feng hurried over and stopped her. Su Ran, everyone on the high platform are personal disciples. You are an inner sect disciple. Just wait below. Su Ran had only seen that there were no Lingyan Peak disciples below, and that Qingning had followed Qingyang onto the platform, so she thought she should also go up. After hearing Ling Feng's explanation, she turned to go back down, but before she could step down the stairs, someone grabbed the back of her collar. I already have 3 disciples. You'll become my final disciple. Xuanwei carried 9-year-old Su Ran back to his seat. From now on, she is your junior sister. After the recruitment ceremony ends, take her to Suan Peak and have her injuries examined. Xuanwei's eldest disciple, Zai Huafeng, nodded in agreement. After the recruitment ceremony ended, Su Ran followed Zai Huafeng to Suan Peak for treatment. The Peak Master of Suan Peak, real Master Chanyu, still remembered Xuanwei mocking women for being delicate earlier. Seeing Zai Huafeng standing at the entrance with Su Ran, she was in no good mood. You sword cultivators of Lingyan Peak have thick skin and sturdy bodies. You can endure the most beatings. Why would you need treatment from our Suan Peak? Hearing Chanyu speak about Lingyan Peak this way, Su Ran secretly concluded that Lingyan Peak's reputation within Purple Sky Sect was definitely terrible. Thinking about Peak Master Xuanwei's personality, he really didn't seem like someone capable of maintaining good relationships. The martial uncles and senior sisters of Suan Peak are all compassionate healers. Surely they won't hold my master's words against us. Junior sister was seriously injured on the heart-questioning path. Please ask Martial Uncle Chanyu to examine her. With only a few words, Zai Huafeng skillfully dissolved the awkward atmosphere. Chanyu signaled for him to bring Su Ran inside the medicine hall. The other new disciples only come to collect healing pills and leave. Yet the disciples of your Lingyan Peak are so precious that we must personally diagnose them. Although Chanyu agreed to treat Su Ran out of consideration for Zai Huafeng, she still could not resist mocking Lingyan Peak. Lingyan Peak was an isolated mountain peak. Seeing Su Ran looking curiously toward the sword pavilion, Ji Huaifeng explained, This is our Purple Sky Sect's weapon treasury. Though it's called the sword pavilion, it doesn't only contain swords. All kinds of weapons are inside. Whenever disciples of the sect establish merit, they may enter the sword pavilion to choose a weapon. Among the treasures inside are many divine weapons famous throughout the cultivation world. Criminals and thieves often covet it. Protecting the sword pavilion has always been the responsibility of our Lingyan Peak. Su Ran could not help asking, Senior brother, does Lingyan Peak only have 4 people? Can just 4 people really protect the sword pavilion? Among the 5 peaks of Purple Sky Sect, only Lingyan Peak was so understaffed. She had heard that Miaoyan Peak possessed many outstanding disciples and was considered the face of Purple Sky Sect. Clearly, they seemed more suitable to guard the sword pavilion. You've arrived, so now there are 5. Another voice sounded nearby. Su Ran turned and saw Xuanwei approaching in white robes while carrying a snow-white sword. Su Ran was quite curious about the sword, but before she could look carefully, Xuanwei suddenly rose into the air. His sword sliced through empty space, and immediately 3 black figures fell from the sky. Shi Huaifeng stepped forward to inspect the identities of the thieves. Now that the Su family no longer existed, no one would force Su Ran to maintain noble etiquette anymore. Yet she had instead become more cautious. After becoming Xuanwei's disciple, everything still felt unreal. Clearly Qingning was the favored child of heaven, yet Xuanwei had not chosen Qingning as his disciple. Instead, he had chosen her. Su Ran simply could not believe such a thing could truly happen. Most of Xuanwei's instructions were not particularly useful. In the end, they could all be summarized as, if anything happens, ask your senior brother. So, after Xuanwei left, Su Ran squatted beside the pond outside her room, watching the koi fish while waiting for her senior brother. After delivering the 3 intruders to the sect master, Ji Huaifeng would come find her. The bamboo forest was extremely quiet, with only occasional bird calls. The weather today was also pleasant, and the sunlight felt warm on her body. When Shi Huaifeng arrived at the bamboo forest, he spotted Su Ran basking in the sun from afar. Strange. Among everyone who passed the heart-questioning path this time, the person who should have been the most exhausted was undoubtedly his little junior sister. Yet when he visited the sect master earlier, the other new disciples all looked drained and exhausted. How was his little junior sister still perfectly fine? Su Ran, do your injuries no longer hurt? Unlike their master, Ji Huaifeng was always careful and considerate. Although he could see her wounds had healed, he still worried she might endure the pain silently. Su Ran shook her head. They're already healed. Senior brother, how should my daily cultivation be arranged from now on? When disciples of Lingyan Peak first enter the sect, every day they must go to the mountaintop at dawn to meditate. Afterwards, they must swing their swords 1,000 times. Once that's done, it will roughly coincide with the inner disciples of Miaoyin Peak attending lessons. After attending the morning foundational classes at Miaoyin Peak, the remaining time can be freely arranged. Hearing the words attending lessons there, Su Ran immediately felt uneasy. Although everyone belonged to Purple Sky Sect, judging from the relationship between Lingyan Peak and Suan Peak, she seriously suspected Lingyan Peak and Miaoyin Peak also did not get along well. Would Miaoyin Peak really allow her to attend classes there? How did senior brother arrange things before? Shi Weifeng replied, "We sword cultivators value real combat. So when your other two senior brothers and I first entered the sect, we often sparred in the sect arena." Su Ran nodded to show she understood. Seeing that Su Ran merely obediently agreed without a single complaint, Shi Weifeng added another sentence. "For these next few days, rest well first. Even if you feel your injuries no longer hurt, you still shouldn't be careless." On the surface, Su Ran obediently nodded, but internally she felt she could not afford to slack off. Real Master Xuanwei already disliked women for being less capable of enduring hardship than men. If she rested instead of cultivating immediately after entering the sect, she might anger him. After giving a few more simple instructions, Shi Huaifeng left behind a communication talisman and departed. The next morning, long before sunrise, Su Ran had no choice but to wake up hurriedly and struggle to keep her sleepy eyes open while climbing the mountain. Senior brother had said that meditating atop the mountain each day was mainly to catch the exact moment of sunrise. At sunrise, all living things receive the blessing of the first rays of morning light. If cultivators meditate wholeheartedly during that moment, they are more likely to achieve enlightenment in their state of mind, which greatly benefits cultivation. After finally climbing to the mountaintop, Su Ran sat down where she was, closed her eyes, calmed herself, and silently recited the cultivation formula in her heart. But she was simply too sleepy and exhausted. She could fall asleep at any moment. Whenever drowsiness struck, she would raise her hand and bite herself. The system had not expected Su Ran to cultivate with such determination and could not help complaining. "Little girl, aren't you being way too ruthless? Your role is supposed to be the pampered young miss. You're not some protagonist in a trash-to-genius story." Su Ran asked the system. "When will you finally leave me?" This so-called system rarely spoke, but every time it did, it only said discouraging things. According to the system itself, it originally should have belonged to the heroine Qingning, but due to some mistake, it had ended up attached to Su Ran instead. Su Ran could not help asking, "Since you belong to Qingning, why not go back to her?" The system sighed. "I want to. But as long as you're alive, I can't leave you. You're just a canon fodder character originally destined to live only 3 chapters. Why can't you peacefully accept your fate?" Su Ran directly asked. "Then what if I refuse to die now? What will you do? Will you harm me to return to Qingning? How could I? Do I look like that kind of evil system?" After refuting her, the system explained, "No matter how you cultivate, you'll never break through chi refining anyway. At most, your lifespan will only exceed mortals by 20 or 30 years. I'll just wait until you finish your short life before leaving. Qingning's cultivation journey will last at least 1,000 years. Waiting 100 years isn't much." Su Ran nodded thoughtfully. "Since we'll be together for over 100 years, let's establish 3 rules so that during the next 100 years we can get along properly." Su Ran didn't particularly like the system, but she could not change the fact that it would remain with her for a very long time. The system laughed. "You little girl actually know quite a lot. So what are these 3 rules?" Su Ran seriously listed 2 points. "Don't say discouraging things or belittle me and the people around me. And don't treat me as a character in a story. I'm a person, not words on paper." The system agreed to both one by one. "What's the 3rd rule?" Su Ran answered. "You decide it." After thinking for a while, the system said, "As compensation, I only have one wish for you. Properly play the role of the vicious supporting female character and don't break character." Su Ran immediately refused. "No, that violates the first 2 rules. As for the 3rd rule, I've already thought of one for you. I'll fulfill your wishes within my..." Su Ran nodded thoughtfully. "Since we'll be together for over 100 years, let's establish 3 rules so that during the next 100 years we can get along properly." Su Ran didn't particularly like the system, but she could not change the fact that it would remain with her for a very long time. The system laughed. "You little girl actually know quite a lot. So what are these 3 rules?" Su Ran seriously listed 2 points. "Don't say discouraging things or belittle me and the people around me. And don't treat me as a character in a story. I'm a person, not words on paper." The system agreed to both one by one. "What's the 3rd rule?" Su Ran answered. "You decide it." After thinking for a while, the system said, "As compensation, I only have one wish for you. Properly play the role of the vicious supporting female character and don't break character." Su Ran immediately refused. "No, that violates the first 2 rules. As for the 3rd rule, I've already thought of one for you. I'll fulfill your wishes within my ability, except for wishes that violate the first 2 rules." The system did not believe it had any wishes needing Su Ran's help. It was only a system, not a human. Its sole purpose for existing was to help the heroine Qingning complete the storyline, although the mission had currently gone wrong. On the other side, Xuanwei arrived at the mountaintop before dawn to meditate. Normally, only he would appear at the summit at this hour. Although Lingyan Peak disciples traditionally meditated at the mountaintop every morning, this only applied to newly admitted disciples. His 3 disciples had stopped coming after reaching Foundation establishment. Today, after Xuanwei sat cross-legged, he unexpectedly noticed another figure nearby. The little girl wore the white robes of a sect disciple and sat with extremely proper posture. However, her head constantly drooped from sleepiness, and every time she nearly fell asleep, she bit the back of her hand. Watching this made Xuanwei feel uncomfortable. He strongly wanted to correct such a bad habit. Su Ran had no idea her master was watching her from nearby while thinking all this. At one particular moment, she suddenly experienced an incredibly strange sensation. It felt as though divine inspiration had suddenly descended. Even though her eyes were closed, the world before her abruptly lit up. Her meridians felt refreshed, as if clear spring water had been poured through them. She had already forgotten the cultivation formula she had been silently reciting, yet the formula now seemed to circulate automatically within her body. When she awoke from this sensation, the sky was already bright. The morning sunlight was radiant and gentle, making everything before her appear especially vivid and clear. The system exclaimed in shock. You actually succeeded in drawing spiritual energy into your body already. Although your spiritual roots are poor, your luck is surprisingly good. So this is drawing spiritual energy into the body. It really does have great benefits for cultivation. Senior brother didn't lie to me. Su Ran merely assumed this was natural and did not notice anything strange. Not far away, Xuanwei raised his brows after witnessing the scene. Only one day after completing the heart-questioning path, while the disciples of the other peaks still hadn't recovered, Su Ran had already succeeded in drawing spiritual energy into her body. So what did law cultivators like Qianlu understand about sword cultivators? After meditation ended, Su Ran practiced swinging her sword for a while before hurrying to Miaoyan Peak's disciple hall. As soon as she arrived, she heard noisy commotion inside. Peeking through the doorway, she saw a crowd of disciples gathered together, and standing at the center was Qingning. As expected of the heroine, the system commented beside Su Ran's ear. No matter where she goes, she becomes the center of attention. This is the storyline where Qingning's jade pendant gets stolen. Looking closely, Su Ran saw that the girl standing opposite Qingning held a jade pendant in her hand. Song Minmin was the daughter of the Song family, one of the 10 great cultivation clans. She had originally left home and joined Purple Sky Sect because she admired the peak master of Miaoyan Peak. Unfortunately, she only possessed dual spiritual roots, barely enough to become an inner disciple of Miaoyan Peak. Even with her family's support, she had failed to become a personal disciple. That alone would have been fine, but Qingning had instead caught the eye of Miaoyan Peak's master. Today was the first day of classes at Miaoyan Peak. As soon as Song Minmin entered the disciple hall, she targeted Qingning. She tossed the stolen jade pendant lightly in her hand while wearing a mocking smile. This jade pendant is mine. You say it's yours? What proof do you have? Qingning was extremely anxious and carefully pleaded. Miss Song, my younger brother's soul is inside that jade pendant. Please return it to me. I'll give you anything else you want. Your younger brother's soul? Who could possibly have the ability to place a soul inside a jade pendant? It's true. Qingning looked ready to cry. Her mother was missing. Her father had died, and now her younger brother was her only remaining family member. Song Minmin sneered. Whether it's true or not. I'll know once I smash this jade pendant. Su Ran could not help asking the system. Is Qingning's brother's soul really inside? The system answered. Putting a soul into a jade pendant does sound unbelievable, but Qingning's mother was once a great expert in soul cultivation, and this jade is a legendary ancient mystical jade capable of nourishing souls. It's entirely possible. Su Ran frowned. Then can Qingning get the pendant back? Won't the male lead step in to help her? The system answered coldly. No. This scene is very important. Song Minmin smashes the jade pendant. Qingning challenges her, and in her rage she breaks through into K-refining middle stage. That officially begins her cultivation journey. Su Ran remained silent for a moment. I think this jade pendant is more important than the plot. Is there any way to stop it from being broken? The system immediately shouted. Don't even think about it. The plot is the most important thing. Just pretend you know nothing and watch. You troublemaker. It's one thing for you not to follow your own villainous storyline, but don't drag the heroine off course too. Seeing Song Minmin truly about to smash the pendant, Qingning ignored everything else and rushed forward to reclaim it. But the cultivator standing behind Song Minmin raised a hand and froze Qingning in place. Qingning watched Song Minmin release the pendant. As it fell from her hand, something inside Qingning snapped. That was her real younger brother. Yet the next second, a figure flashed past her. Qingning murmured, Miss Su Ran, you're that 4 spiritual roots trash. Song Minmin recognized Su Ran immediately. Looking down at her arrogantly, she said, Don't interfere in other people's business. Give me the jade pendant. Su Ran ignored Song Minmin. After straightening her clothes, she turned toward Qingning. Your jade pendant. Keep it safe. Don't give it to her. If you dare give that pendant back to Qingning, I won't let this go! Song Minmin shouted furiously after being ignored. Su Ran looked at her and calmly said, This jade pendant is very important to Qingning. I can't give it to you. The guard behind Song Minmin stepped forward. Miss, should I... Don't interfere. Song Minmin stopped him. She merely disliked Qingning. She had never truly intended to attack Su Ran. 4 spiritual roots. Fine then. Let's fight in the arena. If you win, I won't take the pendant. But if I win, you hand it over. Su-Ran shook her head. I won't fight you. If you refuse, I'll have my guard beat you. Without saying another word, Su-Ran directly took out the communication talisman her senior brother had given her. What are you trying to do? Before Song Minmin could react, Shi Huaifeng suddenly appeared in front of Su-Ran. I merely challenged you. If you accepted and defeated me, that would settle it. Don't you have any backbone at all? You actually summoned Lingyan Peak's senior brother over something like this? Song Minmin was furious and embarrassed. What was this four spiritual roots trash thinking? This wasn't even a life or death situation, yet she actually used a communication talisman. Why should I fight you? Senior brother told me to use the communication talisman whenever I encounter difficulties. I'm facing difficulties now, so I asked senior brother for help. That's much better than losing and having to hand over the pendant. Song Minmin skipped class entirely and stormed away with her guard. I'll let you keep the pendant today, but sooner or later, I'll take it back. Shi Huaifeng sheathed his sword and turned towards Su-Ran. Are you injured? No. They hadn't even started fighting before I crushed the communication talisman. Senior brother, are communication talismans expensive? Was I wrong to bother you over such a small matter? The system exploded in anger beside her ear. If I were your senior brother, I'd be furious. How can you use a communication talisman like that? The expensive part isn't the talisman itself. It's meant to save your life during emergencies. Yet you used it so casually. What a waste. Su-Ran ignored the system and waited for Shi Huaifeng's answer. She simply believed that calling senior brother had been the fastest way to solve today's problem. But if senior brother disliked this approach, she would avoid doing it in the future. Not expensive. Once we return to Lingyan Peak, senior brother will make a few more for you. Zai Huafeng narrowed his eyes slightly and smiled warmly, without the slightest sign of displeasure. The system was stunned speechless. What was going on? How could he not be angry after being summoned so casually? According to the original story, King Ying only used communication talismans to summon the male lead when she was practically dying. Zai Huafeng still seemed worried Su-Ran might overthink things, so he added another sentence. You did very well today. If you encounter difficulties, come find senior brother. Although Lingyan Peak has few members, that doesn't mean others can bully us freely. You have 3 senior brothers. If even your senior brothers can't solve a problem, then go find master. Thank you, senior brother. After thanking him, Su-Ran turned toward King Ying and handed back the jade pendant. Given our identities in the mortal world, you probably don't like me very much. I only helped retrieve your pendant because I sympathized with you. You don't need to thank me. King Ying tightly held the pendant after getting it back and softly apologized to it. Zhao Jin, the first, I'm sorry. Big sister will never lose you again. It's time for class. Senior brother is leaving first. If you encounter trouble again, come find me. Since he could not stay in the disciple hall long, Shi Huaifeng patted Su-Ran's head and departed. Su-Ran found a seat and waited for class to begin. The other disciples gradually sat down as well, but it seemed everyone deliberately avoided sitting near Su-Ran because of her 4 spiritual roots. Miss Su-Ran, may I sit here? Qingying stood beside the seat to Su-Ran's left. She had already tidied herself up and no longer looked miserable. A gentle smile rested on her face. Su-Ran had originally thought Qingying disliked her very much. According to the system, she was the vicious supporting female character in Qingying's eyes. That was why Su-Ran had told Qingying not to thank her earlier. Unexpectedly, Qingying still took the initiative to approach her. Sit if you want. Su-Ran had no objections. Qingying happily sat down. Before the instructor arrived, she whispered softly to Su-Ran. Miss Su-Ran is Zhao Jin's savior, so you are also Qingying's savior. Thank you, Miss Su-Ran. Before Su-Ran could respond, the room suddenly became quiet. Song Minmin had returned. She scanned the room, noticed several empty seats beside Su-Ran, and quickly sat on Su-Ran's right side. The system's narration sounded beside Su-Ran's ear. The heroine Qingying on your left, the villain Song Minmin on your right. And you stuck in the middle. I already told you not to interfere. Su-Ran calmly straightened her posture and listened to the lesson. Heroine or villain, it was all a minor issue. After all, she had an overwhelmingly powerful master and 3 senior brothers. After class ended, Su-Ran went to the training arena for a while. By the time she returned to her small house, evening was already approaching. She squatted beside the little pond near her door for a while. Little fish, Purple Sky Sect is really a wonderful place. If only my older brother could also become a disciple of Purple Sky Sect. The system mocked her. Are you stupid? Talking to a fish? It can't understand you. You might as well talk to me. Yet right after it said that, the little golden koi began swimming circles across the water's surface, as though responding to Su-Ran's words. Over the next half-month, Su-Ran's daily routine remained mostly the same. Although repetitive and dull, her cultivation and swordsmanship improved noticeably. Inside Miaoyan Peak's disciple hall, before morning class began, the disciples gathered in small groups, chatting. Cultivation is so difficult. I'm beginning to suspect my single spiritual root is fake. It's already been half a month, and I still haven't drawn spiritual energy into my body. What's strange about that? The average time for single spiritual roots is 1 month. You're worrying too early. Look at those heavenly spiritual roots. They succeeded in only 3 days and are already at Chai refining middle stage. As they spoke, everyone's eyes turned toward Qingying. Qingying hurriedly waved her hands. No, I was just lucky, and suddenly understood something. Miss Su Ran and Miss Song also already drew spiritual energy into their bodies. Song Minmin snorted disdainfully. Chai refining middle stage? Coincidentally, I also reached Chai refining middle stage yesterday. At that moment, the senior disciple responsible for teaching entered the disciple hall. The instant Qingying saw him, her eyes lit up. It was Qingyang, the senior disciple of Miaoyan Peak and the same person who had led Qingying onto the path of cultivation. Seeing Qingying's eyes practically shining, Su Ran asked the system, "Is Qingyang the male lead? You're trying to trick information out of me again?" The system immediately became wary. Last time I told you the senior sisters of Miaoyan Peak would bully Qingying, and you directly drew your sword and beat all of them. Even Song Minmin was completely dragged off her villain path by you. She hasn't done a single proper villain thing anymore. Su Ran struggled to defend herself. If you tell me who the male lead is, I promise not to interfere with Qingying's romance. I'm absolutely not telling you. What if you drag the male lead off course too? Qingyang was extremely popular within Miaoyan Peak. As the chief disciple, his cultivation naturally surpassed everyone of the same generation. Rumor said he was already at late golden core stage and only one step away from nascent soul. However, Qingying quietly explained, Master has over 30 personal disciples. Since joining Miaoyan Peak, I've only seen Master once during the disciple recruitment ceremony. I haven't seen him again since then, much less senior brother. It's normal that senior brother doesn't remember me. Su Ran was surprised. So the situation in other peaks was completely different from Lingyan Peak. Although Lingyan Peak's second senior brother had gone down the mountain for training, and the third senior brother had entered secluded cultivation, meaning Su Ran had never met either of them, she felt no distance whatsoever from Master and eldest senior brother. Whenever she wanted to see them, she could. Unlike Qingying, who only encountered her own senior brother during class and could not even greet him. After morning class ended, Su Ran prepared to head toward the training arena. But shortly after leaving the disciple hall, she saw Qingyang walking away. Qingying was following behind him. After they walked some distance, Qingyang suddenly lifted Qingying into the air and flew away with her. Su Ran knew it. Qingyang really did remember Qingying after all. He had even deliberately avoided the crowd to meet her. Yet when she returned to class the next morning, she discovered far fewer disciples had arrived. Qingying was among those missing. Song Minmin, do you know where everyone went? Why didn't they come to class today? Su Ran quietly asked. Song Minmin's expression looked ugly. Lowering her voice, she replied, I only heard rumors from some disciples. Apparently disciples from every peak of Purple Sky sect disappeared overnight. Even Qingyang of Miaoyan Peak is missing. At that moment, Lingfeng suddenly arrived at the disciple hall. Why would real Master Lingfeng come to the disciple hall? Of course it's for something important. Lingfeng walked to the front and explained his purpose. Many junior brothers and sisters have likely already heard the news. Disciples from every PK's classes at the disciple hall are suspended. Any disciple at K refining middle stage or above who wishes to descend the mountain for experience may register at Teichu Peak and join the search teams. Su Ran wanted to search for Qingying's whereabouts while also gaining experience. Qingying had clearly been with Qingyang yesterday. If even someone of Qingyang's cultivation level could not escape, Su Ran could not imagine what condition Qingying might be in. After the disciple hall dismissed, Su Ran immediately ran to Teichu Peak to register. Once registered, the managing disciple assigned her to a search team heading down the mountain. Aside from her, the team contained 3 others, 2 from Miaoyan Peak and 1 from Suwen Peak. Junior sister Su Ran, we meet again. Mo Yan greeted her enthusiastically. Su Ran stared blankly at him, unable to remember who he was, and could only vaguely reply, What a coincidence! Hello, junior sister. I'm Shu Kei from Miaoyan Peak. You can call me senior sister Shu. The senior sister carrying a pipa greeted Su Ran warmly. After speaking, she casually mocked Mo Yan. This brat tries getting friendly with every junior sister he sees. Don't let him fool you. Su Ran then looked toward the final member of the team, the senior brother from Suwen Peak. He stood nearby looking extremely busy, surrounded by a group of female disciples. Junior brother, I haven't had an appetite recently. Can you help examine me? Jiang Shichen noticed his 3 teammates and could only smile helplessly. At that moment, Zuki leaned closer to Su Ran. When are we finally going down the mountain to search for the missing disciples? This Jiang Shichen looks so troublesome. Can't we just leave him behind? By the time Jiang Shichen finally dealt with all the girls surrounding him, it was already late afternoon. He hurried over apologetically. Sorry, I delayed everyone. Zuki originally wanted to complain, but looking at his pretty obedient face and weak appearance, she couldn't bring herself to say anything harsh. Let's just hurry and leave. Su Ran had even less interest in comforting Jiang Shichen. The moment everyone gathered, she immediately turned and walked ahead. Watching her leave so decisively, Jiang Shichen looked slightly dejected. I'm the first being disliked? Yet Su Ran still showed no intention of compromising. That still won't work. Sect rules must be followed. If you didn't register, you can't go down the mountain with us. Mo Yan and Zhu Qi both felt nervous, worried Su Ran's bluntness might offend Song Minmin. Within Miaoyan Peak, Song Minmin was a famous figure. As the beloved daughter of the Song clan's patriarch and protected by a nascent soul bodyguard, most disciples of Miaoyan Peak dared not offend her. Junior sister Su Ran, maybe we should. Zhu Qi had barely begun trying to smooth things over when Song Minmin herself suddenly spoke first. Then, walk slower. I'll go register and come right back. Normally this young Miss Song was nowhere near this agreeable. Other disciples often said she exploded in anger at the slightest disagreement, reducing female disciples to tears with insults and beating male disciples into the ground whenever annoyed. Was the Song Min Men they described really the same person? The location assigned to Su Ran's team was Chanlai Town. It was a small settlement under Purple Sky Sect's protection, only 1 day away from the sect. As a town sheltered by Purple Sky Sect, Chanlai Town had already informed the sect that no disappearances had occurred locally. Only weaker disciples like Su Ran's group would be assigned to such relatively safe locations. The 5 of them finally arrived at Chanlai Town. Disciples like Su Ran, whose strength was not particularly great, would be sent to places like this where there was supposedly no danger. By the time the group of 5 arrived at Chanlai Town, it was already dark. They first found an inn to stay at, 1 room per person. Song Mingming tossed a money pouch in his hand and turned back to ask Su Ran and the others. In any case, no matter whether the others wanted to share rooms or not, he definitely wanted a room for himself. Shu Ke suggested, "How about Su Ran and I share 1 room, and Mo Yan and Shi Chen share another? It's more comfortable having 1 room each. No need to be so frugal and squeeze 2 people into 1 room." Mo Yan threw a pouch of money to the innkeeper and immediately asked for a room for himself. Seeing that Mo Yan opposed the idea, Shu Ke did not bring it up again. He was not trying to save money. He simply thought that if 2 people stayed together, they could look out for each other. If someone really came targeting disciples of the Purple Cloud sect, at least they would be safer together. Su Ran picked a room farther inside. After opening the window, she could see a forest in the distance. People at the inn said that it was a locust tree forest. Years ago, the townspeople had used it as a burial ground. Many people had been buried beneath the locust trees. Later, when there was no more room, they moved the graves elsewhere. Meanwhile, at a late-night food stall at a street corner in town, a woman in purple with a veil over her face held a cup of tea in one hand. Mo Yan hurried over and sat down across from her. "What instructions does Elder Xiang have?" "Among the little girls traveling with you, there's one called Su Ran, right? She's Xuan Wei's youngest disciple." Seeing Mo Yan nod, Elder Xiang curled her lips into a satisfied smile. "This is Yunshang powder. Its scent is identical to the Yunshang fruit favored by green copper snakes. Tomorrow, make that little girl Su Ran wear it. I'll release the green copper snakes from the locust forest." Mo Yan looked hesitantly at the sachet in his hand. "Elder Xiang wants Su Ran dead? Xuan Wei stays hidden away in the sword pavilion and rarely leaves Lingyan Peak. Our people are no match for him, so we can only lure him away. He has never had any weaknesses. His previous disciples were all highly capable. Only this newly accepted one is weak." The next morning, Su Ran woke before sunrise as usual to meditate. By the time she finished meditating and began practicing swordsmanship, the others had only just started coming out of their rooms. "Su Ran, you're way too hardworking. We already left the sect and you're still practicing your sword?" Mo Yan stood nearby and waved at Su Ran. "When we go to the locust forest later, take this sachet with you. There are lots of mosquitoes, snakes, and rats in the forest. This sachet can repel them." Su Ran accepted the sachet and examined it briefly. She had no idea what herbs were inside. Although the scent was fragrant, it somehow felt unpleasant. "Mo Yan, only Su Ran gets a sachet? What about ours?" Shu Ke walked over teasingly. Mo Yan smiled and took out 3 more sachets from his storage pouch. "Everyone gets one. How could I forget you all? This contains baling grass. The insects, snakes, and rats in the locust forest dislike its smell." Jiang Shichen lifted the sachet and sniffed it. "Senior Brother Mo is really thoughtful. As a medical cultivator, I actually failed to think of these things. Considering that the locust forest was the most suspicious place in all of Qianlai Town, Su Ran's group headed there first. The forest was lush and full of life. Clusters of locust flowers were hidden among the branches. Judging only by appearances, it looked nothing like the corpse burial ground described by the townspeople. What a heavy aura of death. After stepping into the forest, Song Mingming kept covering his nose with a handkerchief. Shu Ke also frowned. "This place feels really eerie. I've got a terrible feeling. Nothing bad is going to happen, right? Since when was senior sister Shu so timid?" As he spoke, Mo Yan's gaze swept over Su Ran's storage pouch. "Junior sister Su Ran, did you bring the communication talisman your senior brother gave you?" "I did. Senior brother told me to carry it at all times." Then suddenly, "Could you all perhaps also be disciples of the sect?" A wounded man staggered out. "I'm Qin Sheng, a disciple of Taichu Peak. The sect must have sent you junior brothers and sisters to find us, right? I barely escaped from the demonic cultivators." Qin Sheng clutched his bleeding waist as he painfully explained the situation. Apparently, after descending the mountain 2 days earlier, he had been abducted by demonic cultivators near the foot of the mountain. Besides him, many other Purple Cloud sect disciples were imprisoned in underground tunnels deep within the locust forest. Mo Yan suggested, "Junior brother Shichen should stay here and treat senior brother Qin. The rest of us will go investigate the underground tunnels he mentioned." Song Mingming and Shu Ke had no objections. But at that moment, Su Ran spoke up. "Senior brother Shishin is only at the middle stage of qi refinement, and he's a medical cultivator. If danger appears, he won't be able to handle it. I'll stay behind with him. The rest of you go ahead. Mo Yan lowered his eyes slightly and accepted the arrangement. After the others left, Su Ran curiously watched Jiang Shishan treat Qin Shang. The wound at Qin Shang's waist stopped bleeding after Jiang Shishan treated it. What kind of spiritual root does senior brother Qin have, or were you born with a naturally strong body? Su Ran frowned. If senior brother Qin had a naturally strong physique, he should have joined our Lingyan peak. My master was born with one too. Jiang Shishan lifted his gaze from the wound and looked at Qin Shang confidently. There are only a handful of disciples in the sect with mutated spiritual roots, and they're all famous. Senior brother Qin shouldn't have a mutated spiritual root either, right? Qin Shang paused briefly before smiling. That's right. I have neither a naturally strong body nor a mutated spiritual root. The moment Jiang Shichen asked about Qin Shang's spiritual root, Su Ran already understood. Her senior brother had once told her that their master, who possessed a naturally strong body, and third senior brother, who had a mutated spiritual root, healed very quickly even without medicine. But second senior brother, who had a triple spiritual root, recovered much more slowly every time he was injured. Junior sister Su Ran. Jiang Shichen hurried over and checked Su Ran's injuries. At that moment, Elder Shang waved her hand again, and countless second-rank green copper snakes crawled out from all around them. Well then, I should be leaving now. You two enjoy yourselves here. Her figure vanished into the locust forest. In that brief moment, the snakes stuck out their scarlet tongues and slowly slithered toward them. Su Ran had no time to think. Supporting herself with her sword, she stood and blocked a green copper snake that lunged toward her. Junior sister Su Ran, we're only chi refinement cultivators. There are too many green copper snakes. We can't win. Jiang Shichen held out 2 poison pills. If you take these, you'll die instantly without feeling pain. Su Ran turned around. Senior brother, I chose to stay and protect you willingly. I won't retreat. Just stay behind me and watch. Jiang Shichen stared at her in shock. Was this the difference between sword cultivators and medical cultivators like them? At Suan Peak, he often heard senior sisters complain that the sword cultivators of Lingyan Peak were reckless brutes. Sword cultivators had an awful reputation there. People said their combat power was stronger than ordinary cultivators, but that was supposedly nothing impressive. Before today, Jiang Shichen had fully believed that view. But now, how could anyone possibly succeed under these circumstances? Absorbing spiritual energy was easy enough, but guiding it properly and converting it into one's own power was the true difficulty of foundation establishment. For Su Ran, who struggled to concentrate while controlling spiritual energy, attempting a breakthrough at this moment was incredibly dangerous. Even the system panicked. Little girl, are you finally planning to become cannon fodder? I'm not trying to scare you, but you'll really die like this. System, do you have any way to help me leave here safely? Since there's only one path left, what do I have to hesitate about? You said that with my 4 spiritual roots, I'd only ever stop at Chiwai refinement. The destruction of my SU family was written into the story. I, Su Ran, was supposed to die in that massacre. I don't dare dream of lofty goals. I don't dare hope for too much. All I can do is handle what's in front of me, step by step, from surviving to entering the Lion sect, from sensing spiritual energy to reaching late-stage chi refinement. The ME from a month ago probably never imagined I could come this far. As long as I keep walking step by step, someday I'll reach the end of the road, right? Like every seeker who enters the heart inquiry path, those who gave up in despair halfway failed. But someone like me, who doesn't dare stop moving, succeeded. As Su Ran spoke sentence after sentence, the system found itself unable to mock her. If that's truly how you feel, then I hope you succeed. As the system's voice faded, Su Ran felt as though an invisible hand pushed her gently from behind. The spiritual energy swirling chaotically inside her suddenly became docile. The system exclaimed in amazement, "It's auspicious fortune! Little girl, not bad at all. Looks like the heavenly Tao really likes your Tao heart." Even after successfully advancing to foundation establishment, Su Ran did not relax. The battle was not over. Then Jiang Shichen's helpless voice sounded. Su Ran, come here. Retreat behind me. In a situation like this, you actually forced a breakthrough and succeeded. I honestly don't know what to say anymore. Faced with a junior sister like this, he truly couldn't stand aside and do nothing. Senior brother, what is it? Su Ran stepped backward. Suddenly, a pair of arms wrapped around her from behind. Junior sister has been observing me this whole time, hasn't she? Since you want to know my secret, then I'll tell you my greatest secret. I'm actually just a spirit nurtured from ocean luck. I have no parents, no family, no brothers or sisters. Jiang Shichen's voice grew softer and softer until it became barely audible. Su Ran looked down and saw a massive wound open across his wrist. Blood poured out wildly. The blood seemed alive as it climbed over her skin. The spiritual energy willingly offered by the sea spirit instantly pushed her cultivation to the golden core stage. The countless venomous snakes could no longer even approach her. No one knew how long she fought them. By the time Su Ran finally stopped, the ground around her was covered with snake corpses. The sea spirit's energy was nearly exhausted. Her cultivation slowly fell back to early foundation establishment. Leaning on her sword, Su Ran carried the unconscious Jiang Shichen deeper into the locust forest. Although her storage pouch had been stolen, she was not completely defenseless. As long as she reunited with Song Mingming and the others, the unlucky ones next would be their enemies. The damp aura in the forest was almost visible to the naked eye. The humid air was filled with the scent of death. Song Mingming walked in front while cursing the horrible forest. I wonder how Su Ran and the others are doing. By now they should have already escorted that senior brother out of the forest, so why aren't they here yet? Shu Kei finally got annoyed by Song Mingming's constant muttering. We left markers along the way. Junior sister Su Ran and the others will definitely find us. Stop worrying so much. Song Mingming pointed at a symbol carved into a nearby locust tree. You mean these markers? Didn't we already pass this place? This is the exact marker we left earlier. Shu Kei's expression changed instantly. What's going on? That senior brother never said we'd get lost in here. That's because he lied to you. A leisurely male voice sounded behind them. Song Mingming and Shu Kei turned around and looked at Mo Yan, who had been walking at the rear the entire time. What do you mean? Song Mingming, isn't the person behind you an array cultivator? Can't you even tell that you've stepped into an array formation? As he spoke, Mo Yan removed his disguise. The person standing before them was now a completely different young man in both appearance and temperament. Shu Kei spoke coldly. Who are you? Even if Mo Yan wasn't handsome, he was still our important friend. You're not him. I am Mo Yan. You just never knew the real me. At some point, another woman had also appeared behind him. You're all so stupid. Friends? Mo Yan never considered any of you his friends. Song Mingming was furious. He had never expected to be betrayed by a fellow disciple. Mo Yan, you betrayed us? What about Su Ran? You said that senior brother lied to us. Then what happened to Su Ran and Jiang Shichen? Elder Shang lazily twirled a strand of hair around her finger. The two of them? By now they've probably already been bitten to death by green copper snakes. Song Mingming's eyes turned red with rage. No way. Su Ran wouldn't die that easily. I'm going to save her! Zheng Qiang, can you break this array? Zheng Qiang nodded. Yes. It's a maze formation. It isn't dangerous, but precisely because it's harmless, it's harder to notice. As a member of the Song family, famous for array formations, Zheng Qiang's attainments were naturally extraordinary. He wouldn't be trapped by a simple maze array. I really underestimated you, using an array against someone from the Song family. But can a mere array cultivator defeat me? A spell cultivator? As Elder Shang spoke, she formed a spell seal with one hand. Zheng Qiang quickly tried to block it, but the attack reached him in an instant. His already frail body immediately coughed up blood. Mo Yan stood outside the formation, coldly observing. Not long after, Song Mingming and the others were beaten into miserable states and collapsed on the ground, unable to rise. Mo Yan, come kill them, and you'll be able to see your sister again. Elder Shang deliberately left Song Mingming and the others alive. Mo Yan stood motionless. Enough. Just throw them into the cave and imprison them with the other Purple Cloud sect disciples. Forget the others. But if Song Mingming dies, the Song family will never let it go. That won't benefit us. Elder Shang nodded. Fine, leave Song Mingming alive. Then go kill the other female disciple. A look of disgust flashed across Mo Yan's face, but this time he did not refuse. He tossed aside the whistle hanging from his body and formed a hand seal. Shu Kei struggled to lift her head. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Even though he always acted silly and looked plain, she had once liked him. She truly had been blind. Mo Yan. A sharp shout suddenly rang out behind him. Before Mo Yan could even turn around, a sword pierced straight through his back. Mo Yan instantly lost all strength and collapsed to his knees. At the same moment, Su Ran rushed to Song Mingming's side and pulled a jade pendant from inside her collar. Mo Yan, you deliberately asked whether I carried a communication jade, didn't you? Thanks to your reminder, I secretly hid one on Mingming, just in case. You two enjoyed yourselves for long enough. Now it's our Purple Cloud sect's turn to strike back. As the communication jade shattered, the figure of a man carrying a sword appeared out of nowhere. Seeing Ji Weifeng before her, the strength Su Ran had been forcing herself to maintain finally gave out. Little junior sister. For the first time, Ji Weifeng's usually calm voice carried obvious anger. He let out a cold laugh. The moment his azure sword left its sheath, violent winds gathered throughout the forest. Elder Shang immediately leapt backward, but the sword energy still brushed past her cheek. You dare injure my face! Ji Weifeng, you're courting death! A small bowl appeared in her hand. After throwing it out, the bowl rapidly expanded and trapped Ji Weifeng inside. Song Mingming immediately recognized the treasure. Heaven-swallowing bowl! Even my father can't bear to let me carry something like that. This woman really spared no expense to deal with us. Shu Kei, being from a prestigious sect herself, knew a fair bit about Bishui Heaven. The heaven-swallowing bowl. I heard it's one of Bishui Heaven's sect treasures. Song Mingming immediately understood the implication. So Moyan and this woman truly were connected to Bishui heaven. A loud explosion suddenly erupted from inside the heaven-swallowing bowl. Cracks spread across its surface like a spiderweb before it shattered completely. The person inside stepped out entirely unharmed. How is that possible? Elder Xiang stared in horror at the shattered treasure. That's a supreme-grade spiritual artifact capable of withstanding a strike from a divine transformation cultivator. Yet Zi Huaifeng had destroyed it effortlessly. Song Mingming and Shu Ke were equally dumbfounded. Just moments ago they had been discussing how powerful the artifact was, only for it to shatter in a single blow. Little junior sister, watching others fight can teach you many things. I never had the chance to use this move before. I was afraid of damaging things inside the sect and getting scolded by Taichu Peak. But here, I can finally use it. As Ji Huaifeng walked toward Elder Shang with sword in hand, he explained to Su ran behind him. I obtained this sword technique by chance in the Cloud Heaven secret realm when I was 15. It's called Mountains and Jade Winds. The azure sword floated upright before him. Violent winds surged outward in all directions with the blade as the center. When he finally sheathed the sword, the winds vanished and the sky became clear again. Although Su Ran could not understand his technique, she understood one thing. There was something within his swordsmanship that she herself did not yet possess. Ji Huaifeng looked down coldly at Elder Xiang and Mo Yan. We'll take the two of you back and let the people of Taichu Peak interrogate you. Suddenly, a familiar male voice sounded in the distance. Qin Shang really is useless. But none of you are leaving here alive. Song Mingming and Shu Ke looked at the newcomer in shock and fury. Senior brother? Qingyang glanced at them. Disciples of Miaoyan Peak? Shuke's eyes reddened. Senior brother? You're a traitor too? Traitor? Purple Cloud Sect abandoned me first. I merely made the correct choice. As he spoke, Qingyang slowly walked toward them. Shi Huaifeng, Lingyan Peak truly values its disciples. Even a newly recruited disciple receives this level of protection. Shi Huaifeng stepped in front of Su Ran protectively. Qingyang, you're only late-stage golden core. Even if there's something unusual hidden in this locust forest, you're still no match for me. Qingyang had entered the sect at the same time as him. Shi Huaifeng had reached nascent soul before him, and in terms of combat ability, no cultivation path could rival sword cultivators. Late-stage golden core is indeed no match for you, but I'm not golden core anymore. The aura surrounding Qingyang suddenly changed. The pressure of a nascent soul cultivator spread outward. You suppressed your cultivation. With your talent and status, you could have eventually inherited Miaoyan Peak. Why betray Purple Cloud Sect? You haven't forgotten what happened 7 years ago, have you? The Cloud Heaven secret realm was destroyed by Yin Yue and sank beneath the sea. At the time, over 1,000 cultivators were still trapped inside. Those people were innocent. Yin Yu always pretends to uphold righteousness, but what he does is even crueler than demonic cultivators, and that man was my master. That's because the Cloud Heaven secret realm had produced countless demonic creatures. If they escaped, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Master Yin Yue did it for the sake of all living beings. Shi Huaifeng frowned. This Qingyang had clearly become obsessed. He was speaking this way about the master who had raised him for decades. So, the lives of the common people matter, but the lives of those trapped in the secret realm do not? I begged him to wait one more day, but he refused. If he had only given me one more day, I could have saved senior brother. At that moment, a frail little girl suddenly rushed into the maze formation. Qingning, why did you come out? Go back. Qingyang hurried to her side, but Qingning shook her head and looked up at him. The person you wanted to save, was it my mother? Yes, but the ones who killed your mother were Miaoyan Peak's Peak Lord and Sect Master Qianlu. The entire Purple Cloud Sect is our enemy, Qingyang answered seriously. Hearing him try to brainwash Qingning like this, Ji Huaifeng laughed out loud. So that's what this is about, a Bishui Heaven female disciple named Ziqing. When third senior brother heard this story back then, he treated it like a joke. He said the eldest disciple of Miaoyan Peak must have water in his brain. Of all people to fall for, you chose a married woman with children. Ziqing loved a mortal man and willingly bore his children. She never had any feelings for you. You're far too full of yourself. There are at least 10,000 resentful spirits here. This resentful spirit array was originally prepared to trap your master. I doubt you'll leave this forest alive. The smile on Zi Huaifeng's face only deepened. His flowing wind sword thrust forward once. It swept through the countless resentful spirits like thunder and annihilated every one of them. Even the surrounding locust trees collapsed. The battle between the eldest disciples of Lingyan Peak and Miaoyan Peak ended in a single move. Qingyang was horrified. He had never imagined Shi Huaifeng possessed such overwhelming strength. How is this possible? Our cultivation levels are clearly similar. We don't have the authority to decide his fate ourselves. He never personally killed any disciples. Although he participated, he only provided Bishui Heaven with the locations of Purple Cloud sect disciples. Please, immortal master, spare senior brother Qingyang. This once, Qingning pleaded desperately. Qingyang stopped her. Qingning, you don't need to beg them so humbly. When has anyone from Lingyan Peak ever cared about feelings? They only care about their own people. They don't care whether others live or die. You're right about that. The tradition of Lingyan Peak is protecting our own. What happens to others has nothing to do with us. If you sincerely repent, I think the sect master and immortal Yin Yue may give you another chance. But asking me to let you go? Impossible. I would never agree. Repent? The ones who should repent are Qian Lu and Yin Yue. I have nothing to regret. Su Ran waved toward Qingning. Qingning, tell us where the imprisoned disciples are. My senior brother and I can explain things to the sect master. If senior brother Qingyang sincerely repents and makes up for his crimes, the sect master won't treat him too harshly. Hearing Su Ran say this, Qingyang's heart softened. Tears streamed down her face as she slowly walked toward Su Ran. Qingyang shouted angrily, Qingning, don't go! Have you forgotten? They're the enemies who killed your mother. How can you return to Purple Cloud sect? How could Qingning not care about her mother's death? But, immortal Qingyang, my mother would surely also accept the sect master's and Peak Lord Yin Yue's decision. The sect master and Peak Lord Yin Yue are good people. If they weren't forced into it, they would never abandon those trapped in the secret realm. Please let it go. My mother wouldn't want to see you doing these things either. Qingning's memories of her mother were vague. She only remembered that her mother had left to save her younger brother and never returned. When she nearly lost her brother too, it was Su Ran who caught the jade pendant and protected Xiaojing. After entering Miaoyin Peak, the person who truly stayed by her side was not Qingyang. It was Su Ran. I'll take you to rescue the others. Ji Weifeng glanced at his little junior sister with raised brows. At such a young age, she already knew how to win people over. No matter how much Qingyang calculated, he never could have expected Qingning to trust Su Ran this much. Before leaving to rescue the imprisoned disciples, Ji Weifeng sent a paper kite spell back to the sect to inform the sect master and Xuan Wei about the situation in Qianlai town. Su Ran, take your friends back to the sect first. Senior brother will rescue the imprisoned disciples.
Su Ran readily accepted the arrangement. After leaving the locust forest, the group took deep breaths of the fresh air outside. The feeling of surviving a disaster truly was indescribable.
Just as they steadied themselves, an elegant male figure descended before them from the sky. Where is Qingyang? The man walked through the air itself. For some reason, it felt as though a layer of mist covered his body. One could vaguely see his appearance, yet afterward realized they had seen nothing clearly at all. He's deep inside the locust forest. Su Ran pointed the way. The moment she finished, the man stepped forward casually and vanished entirely within moments. The Peak Lord. The Peak Lord actually came. Immortal Yin Yue was famously elusive. He had not even personally attended the disciple acceptance ceremony, leaving such matters to his direct disciples. Song Mingming had once glimpsed him at his family estate. At the time, Yin Yue had been discussing matters with Song Mingming's father. That single glance had left Song Mingming utterly stunned. It was precisely because of Yin Yue that he decided to leave the Song family and join Purple Cloud sect. You recognized him immediately? Su Ran looked impressed. Of course. His temperament is too extraordinary. Besides, throughout all of Purple Cloud sect, he's the only one who deliberately obscures his own appearance. Su Ran, you're new to the sect and from Lingyan Peak, so naturally you wouldn't know. He's the male lead of the story, and Qingying's future Dao companion. The system rarely revealed spoilers voluntarily anymore. Ever since Su Ran disrupted the original plot, the system had stopped giving her much information. This spoiler truly felt long overdue. But Su Ran genuinely had not expected Yin Yue to be the male lead. Seeing how attached Qingning had seemed to Qingyang, Su Ran had once assumed the two would end up together. Now, however, she understood that Qingyang and Qingning had no future at all, and based on what she knew of Qingning, the girl probably hadn't even exchanged a few words with Yin Yue yet. Who knew how those two would eventually end up together? After returning to Purple Cloud sect from Qianlai town, Su Ran handed Su Ling and the others over to disciples of Suan Peak before hurrying off to see her master. At that time, Xuan Wei was meditating inside his cave dwelling. This was Su Ran's first time stepping inside. Previously, whenever she needed something, she always went to find her senior brother instead. Xuan Wei opened his eyes and looked at Su Ran. He had heard that while living in the mortal world, his little disciple had been a pampered noble daughter. Under circumstances like these, she should have been crying uncontrollably. Clearly, it was thanks to his excellent teaching that his little disciple could remain so composed. Master, why would Bishui Heaven target our Purple Cloud sect like this? As one of the 4 great righteous sects, what grudge could they possibly have against us? Does it have something to do with what Qingyang mentioned about 7 years ago? Su Ran had a feeling that even after the missing disciples were rescued, this matter would not end so easily. Something even more troublesome was probably coming. When the missing disciples return, the sect master will likely make an official judgment. Xuanwei did not elaborate further about Bishui Heaven, but Su Ran clearly sensed that the people from Bishui Heaven had been targeting her master specifically. Qingyang had even mentioned that the resentful spirit array in the Locust Forest was originally prepared for Xuanwei. Her master definitely knew something. Still, Su Ran chose not to continue questioning him. After recounting everything that happened in the Locust Forest, she left the cave dwelling and returned to her residence. The bamboo forest cabin halfway up the mountain remained peaceful and quiet, exactly as it had before she left for Qianlai town. The fish in the pond by the door had all grown round and fat. Squatting beside the water, Su Ran poked the surface gently with her finger. The fish swam around excitedly as though expressing happiness at her return. 2 days later, Shi Huaifeng and the others finally returned with the rescued disciples. Meanwhile, at Taichu Peak, Qianlu received a reply from Bishui Heaven. Previously, he had already sent them a letter demanding accountability. The voice of Bishui Heaven's sect master echoed from the message talisman. This matter involving demonic creatures was entirely the work of traitors within our sect. All traitors have now been expelled. We hope this incident will not damage the harmony between our two sects. The Peak Lord of Artifact Forging Peak slammed his teacup down furiously. Bishui Heaven is going too far! They're trying to push all responsibility away so cleanly! Xuanwei rested his chin lazily on one hand. What's there to be angry about? Whether they admit it or not makes no difference to us. We'll just kill our way over there. Even mortals have Dao hearts. You don't know your Dao heart simply because your conviction isn't strong enough? Then what's your Dao heart, Mingming? Qingying blinked her large eyes and asked Song Mingming in return. Song Mingming frowned. Why should I tell you? So if your Dao heart isn't strong enough, you can't choose a weapon? Su Ran listened seriously. She also wanted a sword truly meant for her. No, you can still choose ordinary weapons. Only spiritual weapons with consciousness choose based on Dao hearts. They only choose cultivators whose Dao resonates with theirs. If the cultivator isn't compatible, they can't even remove the weapon from the weapon pavilion. Su Ran felt a little excited. I wonder whether there's a sword there that resonates with me. Her master and senior brother had given her many magical artifacts, but never a sword. Su Ran didn't think they had forgotten. They were probably waiting for her to personally find the sword that truly belonged to her. After all, a lifelong companion chosen by oneself naturally carried more meaning than one gifted by others. 3 days passed quickly. For the first time in many years, Lingyan Peak was finally crowded with people. Outside the sword pavilion stood countless eager disciples. Purple Cloud's sect had more than 4,000 disciples under 50 years old. Although the sword pavilion was enormous, it could not accommodate everyone at once. Only 100 disciples were allowed in at a time. The order was determined by drawing lots. Su Ran, which group did you draw? Song Mingming looked at her. The first group. The moment Su Ran stepped into the sword pavilion, her nervousness disappeared. Instead, she suddenly felt something calling to her. Unable to resist, she hurried upstairs. The first 100 disciples gradually emerged carrying their chosen weapons, but Su Ran and Song Mingming waited and waited without seeing Qingning come out. Qianlu had already signaled for the second group to enter. Su Ran and Song Mingming approached him. Sect Master, I think one female disciple from the previous group still hasn't come out. Is that so? Then she probably encountered an excellent weapon. There's no danger inside the sword pavilion. Once she subdues the weapon, she'll naturally emerge. Though still doubtful, Su Ran and Song Mingming stopped asking and obediently waited outside. Soon it was Song Mingming's turn. When she came out, she was carrying an ugly erhu. She herself looked extremely disgusted by it, yet the disciples of Miaoyan Peak around her all congratulated her enthusiastically. Junior Sister Song is incredible. That erhu possesses spiritual consciousness. It's a top-grade magical artifact. Unlike ours, which are just ordinary artifacts, Song Mingming shoved the erhu toward their faces. If you love it so much, then trade with me. The disciples immediately scattered. Even though spiritually conscious artifacts were valuable, erhus had always been looked down upon among sound cultivators. By the way, did Qingning come out yet? I didn't see her inside. No, we still don't know where she went. What kind of weapon is she trying to subdue? She's been inside forever. Su Ran and Song Mingming continued waiting. Even when it became Su Ran's group's turn to enter the sword pavilion, Qingning still had not emerged. You're junior sister Su Ran from Lingyan Peak, right? The moment she entered, 2 senior sisters approached her. Su Ran looked at them suspiciously. Do you need something, senior sisters? We're both from Taichu Peak. We've heard all about junior sister Su Ran's reputation and always wanted to meet you. You're a disciple of Lingyan Peak, and your master Xuanwei is the one guarding the sword pavilion. You must have visited this place before, right? Of course not. The sword pavilion is normally closed. How could I possibly enter? But junior sister Su Ran must know quite a bit about what's inside, right? Since the sword pavilion opened, and you're Xuan Wei's direct disciple, he must have told you many things about it. I don't know anything. Why would my master tell me such things? When the sword pavilion opens, all disciples enter fairly and choose weapons suited to themselves. I'm doing the same, following my own heart to find a suitable weapon. Yu Jinying spoke in a mocking tone. But the weapons inside the sword pavilion are placed randomly. There's no way to tell whether they're good or bad. If junior sister Su Ran truly knows nothing, to believe that Su Ran truly hadn't received any information at all. Choosing a weapon in the sword pavilion relied heavily on luck. Tens of thousands of magical artifacts were displayed inside the pavilion, and no one could possibly inspect every single weapon rack. Moreover, when viewed through the weapon racks, all the weapons looked dull and lifeless. There was no visible difference between them, and according to the rules, once someone opened a weapon rack, they had to take the weapon inside with them. A good sword? I'm not here looking for a good sword. I'm here looking for He Xinyi's sword. Ignoring the sarcastic remarks from the two girls, Su Ran continued walking forward on her own. At that moment, dozens of weapon racks on the first floor suddenly began shaking. Weapons flew out from the racks on their own. What's happening? These all seem to be spiritually conscious weapons. All the spiritual weapons on this floor flew out. Everyone rushed forward trying to grab the weapons, but the weapons all flew toward a single direction together, beyond anyone's control. Yujin and Yushu stared speechlessly at the magical artifacts flying in from every direction, because all of them stopped around Su Ran. Other people had trouble choosing because the weapons stayed hidden inside the racks. But Lingyan Peak's little junior sister had no such problem. The spiritually conscious artifacts were practically scrambling to come out by themselves. Su Ran looked up at the floating weapons. She could hear their thoughts. They all liked her very much. How loved by weapons is your Dao heart exactly? Even Qingning wasn't this outrageous. Although he had already guessed during Su Ran's foundation establishment breakthrough that her Dao was favored by the heavenly Dao, he never imagined it would be to this extent. Outside the sword pavilion, Qianlu was being surrounded by disciples who had just come out. Sect Master. All the spiritual weapons are surrounding Su Ran. We can't even choose anything. Qianlu frowned. Back then, when Xuan Wei entered, he took Shui Wuxi, ranked second on the weapon rankings. Then Ji Weifeng entered and took Lu Feng's sword, ranked sixth. Now, among the remaining famous swords in the sword pavilion, only Blood Chariot, ranked seventh, is left. I wonder whether this little girl can find it. I'm only in my 20s. Can I also go inside and pick a weapon or something? Lin Jixing spoke while trying to walk into the sword pavilion. Qian Lu formed a hand seal, creating a barrier in front of him. You already have your own natal sword. Why are you joining the excitement? Xingye refuses to acknowledge you because you simply aren't fated with it. Stop wasting your effort. That old thing Xingye has been lying in Purple Cloud Sect's sword pavilion for thousands of years. When has it ever responded to anyone? I think it simply won't respond to anyone. Why not just lend it to me for a while? You dare act recklessly? Forget how I'd punish you. Your master is on the top floor of the sword pavilion. He could split you in half with one sword strike. Speaking of which, where's my little junior sister? I heard she came to choose a sword. Lin Jixing turned around and scanned the crowd, but failed to identify his little junior sister. They had only met once at the disciple acceptance ceremony, so his impression of her was extremely vague. Inside the sword pavilion, Su Ran stood staring blankly at a pipa. Yujin became anxious seeing Su Ran standing there unmoving. Junior sister Su Ran, you're a sword cultivator. You don't need a pipa, right? Don't you think this pipa is strange? It's glowing strangely. This was Su Ran's first time seeing a weapon shine so brightly, and with multicolored light at that. Nothing strange about it. Yu Jing and Yu Shu shamelessly lied through their teeth, afraid Su Ran would become interested and refuse to leave. Then, suddenly, a little girl tightly grabbed the hem of her mother's clothing. This was Qingning's memory. Su Ran had heard Qingning talk about her mother many times before. That alone proved Qingning was trapped here too. Where is Qingning? She needed to wake Qingning up and bring her out. Su Ran stepped forward and tried to grab the little girl's hand, but her own hand passed straight through. She couldn't touch anything in this place. A young woman's voice echoed around her. Don't waste your effort. She wants to remain immersed in this dream herself. You can't wake her. Are you the pipa? You're quite clever. No wonder all those other weapons woke up. Then why don't you like me? I like you too, but I already chose this little girl first. If she overcomes her inner demon, then I'll belong to her. If she can't overcome it, then she'll stay here with me forever. What exactly do all of you like about me? Hearing Su Ran's question, the pipa laughed. Some like your brave and straightforward Dao heart. Some like your gentleness and respect toward all living things. As for me, I like your clarity. In the future, whether you break through golden core, nascent soul, or even higher realms, no inner demon will ever trap you. Right? Su Ran asked in return, how do you know no inner demon can trap me? At my age, both cultivation and life are only just beginning. What I'll encounter in the future, or what kind of person I'll become, are still impossible to predict. I'm a weapon famous for awakening people's inner demons. I chose this girl, Qingying, because her inner demons are heavy and numerous. She's exactly to my liking. But you entered my illusion realm and weren't affected in the slightest. If there truly comes a day when some person or event causes inner demons in someone as clear-minded as you must tell me about it. Suran spoke softly toward the empty air. It's not that I don't have them, you just failed to notice them. I want to take Qingying away. Pipa, will you leave together with Qingying? The Pipa laughed again after hearing Suran's words. Both the first sentence and the second amused her greatly. You can't even leave yourself, yet you still want to bring someone else out? As long as Qingying breaks through her inner demon, this illusion realm will disappear, and we'll be able to leave, right? That's true, but you can't interfere with her illusion. You can't even touch her. How could you possibly help her overcome her inner demon? Suran didn't answer. Instead, she walked over and crouched before the crying little girl. Qingying, it's me, Suran. I came to bring you home. Inner demons aren't something so easily resolved. The moment the Pipa finished speaking, the entire illusionary space suddenly began shaking and twisting violently. The little girl stopped crying and began growing up rapidly. In only a few moments, the illusion dissolved. The little girl returned to Qingying's appearance. Suran! Qingying threw herself into Suran's arms and cried uncontrollably. The Pipa was stunned. What just happened? How did the illusion disappear so suddenly? Was this little girl's influence over the person she chose really this overwhelming? One sentence alone had pulled someone out of their inner demon. Suran gently patted Qingying's back. Let's go out, the Pipa hurriedly called after them. You really are capable, little girl. Tell Qingying to take me with her. There's absolutely no weapon in this world more suitable for her than me. Junior sister Su ran, you. So this Pipa is actually that powerful? It seems I was blind. A weapon capable of creating illusion realms is unheard of. Yujin casually reached toward the Pipa. Suran raised a hand and stopped her. Then she smiled. There's no point, even if you want it. The Pipa already acknowledged Qingying as its master. Taking it won't help you. Yujin and Yushu's expressions changed instantly. They had originally assumed this junior sister was naive and easy to fool. Turns out she had been playing them all along. Qingying, are you going to take the Pipa and leave now, or will you continue upward with me and come back for it later? Qingying glanced at Yujing and Yushu before answering. I'll go with you. So Suran continued climbing toward the higher floors of the sword pavilion. Yujing and Yushu still refused to give up and continued following them. By the time they reached the second highest floor, the number of disciples suddenly increased dramatically. The entire floor was crowded and noisy. Everyone seemed to believe that the best weapons were stored on the higher floors. Look at this sword. Its entire body is snow white. It might actually be shuike. There are countless snow white swords in the sword pavilion. Besides, you aren't even a sword cultivator. If you pick up an ordinary sword by mistake, you'll be the unlucky one. So many senior brothers and sisters came here hoping for shuike. Then they pick one up and discover it's just an ordinary sword. You think your luck is really that good? That you'll grab shuike on your first try? Suran glanced toward the sword everyone was discussing. Then she faintly heard the sword snort impatiently. You're blocking this lord's sunlight.